and welcome to our podcast, Learning, Leading Now, where we talk all things Mobile County Public Schools. We talk parenting, education, all that. I'm your host, Renee Phillips, joined by our co-host today,
Mike Herndon.
And our special guest is Bryan Ashmore.
Greetings.
From our HR department. And so we talk about parenting. I've got 2 middle school boys. Your days are numbered.
I'm about to be out of the business.
Yeah. So
my youngest is a senior.
How many days? Is she counting every day?
Yeah, it's till graduation or till like grades are in at the end of April. So that's what she's counting toward, because she considers herself done as soon as grades are in, which is the end of April. So it's like, and we've got spring break coming up, so it's really only a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you count graduation, right?
It's middle of May.
Yeah.
I'm not rushing things.
No, I wouldn't guess so. Or do you count the day she leaves for college?
Well, it's all these steps, you know. Mm-hmm. Grades are in, graduation trip, and then leaving for college.
And where's she going?
She's going to Auburn.
Yeah, and we're both Alabama grads.
Yes, I was overruled.
Yes.
I'm outnumbered in my house.
And we have an Ole Miss person
I was
going to
say, you couldn't get her out of state up north, you know? Well, Oxford, Mississippi, no?
It's a little extra money there.
Totally worth it. Totally worth it.
In-state is nice.
In my student loan experience, it's totally worth it.
Yeah. Ooh, so scary. And then on the whole other end of that, Bryan, you have a kindergartner and a 3-year-old.
Indeed.
So how was your first year of school? How's it going?
Pretty great. I've got graduation coming up too. Kindergarten will be moving
You'll still have
on.
Smaller gown.
Yeah,
That's right.
And still a moment.
That's right. Oh yeah. He's
absolutely.
I think he's looking forward to transitioning to first grade. It's gonna be a big difference for him. He's in a really small spot right now, and be moving up to a school where he's gonna have 18, 20 plus kids in his class. So. I think it'll be a big change for him, but kindergarten's done a lot for him about opening him up and preparing him for something like that. And he's gotten a lot more social, and it's exciting to see him grow and see some of that develop. I
always say there's a special place in heaven for kindergarten teachers.
Oh man, no doubt.
Because what they can do in that 1 year is nothing short of a miracle.
It's magical. Indeed, it is.
Does he like to read?
Oh yeah. He's learned this year to read, and he's super excited about it. We've got him in some Spanish lessons, I've got a favorite baseball team, and he's got a favorite player on that team, and he was it's the Astros, and we watched a lot of the World Series games together, and he's got a favorite player who only speaks Spanish, and so we've been working some one-on-one Spanish lessons with him, and so he's picking that up, and he's super excited about how to ask him in Spanish how to sign a baseball for him. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, he's pretty excited about that.
It is neat how sports kind of brings in some conversations. Yeah. Like my son loves the soccer and the World Cup, and his favorite player is Messi. And so
my son is also Messi.
Yes, yes,
with a Y.
M-E-S-S-I or M-E-S-S-Y. But for his birthday, we got him a Messi jersey, and he loves it. And he's Team Argentina. But they made it fun at his middle school, and they were talking about the different countries that they were from and trying to learn a little bit and learn the languages that they speak. So it is kind of a thing that can bind you or divide you, right?
Sure.
And being an Astro fan and an Ole Miss fan, you had quite the year last year with the baseball, and actually got to go see it, right?
It was unbelievable, y'all. I for many years as both an Astro and Ole Miss fan, there was a lot of non-winning seasons I had to endure, but everything came together in a really special way last year, and got to watch Ole Miss put together the end of a really nice season and get to Omaha. And I had no idea it was going to go that direction, but the time came, and when they won the last series, I think it was Arkansas, to get to the championship series, my wife was basically pushing me out the door and was like, look, you've lived this long. It's been this long since you graduated. I'm going to leave years off so people don't realize how old I am. But, it's been so long since you graduated. You've never experienced anything like this. It's truly once in a lifetime. Get your behind on a plane and go to Nebraska. And I did, and it was just incredible. I got to stay there we kind of ganged up about 4 or 5 of us to a room in a hotel, me and my old roommate and a couple of our best buddies. And I don't know what was more exciting, the games themselves and winning the way that we did, or just being able to reunite with my buddies and share some of those stories about where we're at in life and what it took to get there. It was just really, really exciting. And then, like you said, the Astros the last couple of years have been really, really fun to watch. They've been winning a lot of ball games and had some World Series appearances. And it was kind of, again, a situation where my wife, I give her all the credit. She pushed me out the door for Omaha. And then when Houston made it, she was like, look, as once in a lifetime as Ole Miss going to Omaha and going to the national championship years, imagine this ever happening again where your two favorite baseball teams are ever going to go to the championship. So off to Houston I went.
2 once in a lifetime in 1 year.
Got to go to game 2 of the World Series, super exciting, and then I got to go to both games of the World Series for Ole Miss. Got to win them, see them win the championship, and then Houston picked up the win when I was there for game 2. So it was a good time, a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And who knows? I mean, they're still pretty good. You might get to go to another one. Might be twice in a lifetime.
We're in the middle of the dynasty, man. Yeah, we got plenty of good seasons left, for sure.
And fun fact, Mike and I went to Alabama, but we went there when we did not really have a very good football team. So I've never been to an Alabama national championship game.
I have covered 2 of them in my former life as a sports writer. And actually, when I graduated in the spring of 92, and they won with Stallings the fall of 92. So I just missed it as a student.
Oh, no, not to age myself, but I was there with Mike DeBose, 4 and 7.
Hey, I aged myself a little more than you did.
I had my fun with Ed Orgeron back in the day, so I think we can all share in a little bit of misery when it comes to seeing our football teams not win games.
Yeah, but we can enjoy it now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but so a couple of things going on in the school system. This month is a lot of weeks as we wrap up. We always have we need a National School Human Resources Person Week. There is a school PR day. There is a school PR day.
Yeah.
But so this week, though, because our people are awesome, so I don't mean to sound
agree.
like I'm not appreciative, because goodness, we appreciate them. But this week was Assistant Principal Week and Paraprofessionals Week, and we had a Media Specialist Day. So all that in 1 week, cramming in 3 very different jobs, 3 very important jobs. So we want to say that we appreciate all of you, all of our assistant principals, paraprofessionals, and media specialists.
Absolutely.
And I will say, we have a hard time keeping up with all of these days and weeks sometimes, but it just goes to show how many great people filling how many great different roles within the school system that we need to just operate and to give the students the best education we can. So there are a lot of different jobs out there, which is kind of what we're here to talk about today, right?
I was going to say, nobody would know about any of that if we didn't have such a great communications team. So there you go.
Thank you
Put
very
a nice bow on it right there.
And letting us know about our HR opportunities is what you're going to do, right? Because and we know this, Mobile County Public Schools is the best place to work.
Absolutely.
Team
Absolutely.
MCPSS all the way, right?
Yeah, no doubt. I'm in year 10 here, and I am loving it. It's been just the best, truly the best job I've ever had. A lot of people, there's kind of the cliches about working with family and all that, but it's I come to work every single day. People know about my kids. People ask about them, and it's we're involved in each other's lives because we're all trying to pull the rope in the same direction. We're all trying to accomplish the same goals. But one thing that's really unique about our department is that we do understand that there's more than just clocking in and clocking out and all the hours in between. Like we have relationships back here where people just are truly invested in each other, and it's like I said, far and away the best job I've ever had and the best department I've ever been a part of. So you give us a day, a week, a month, whatever, we'll be grateful for whatever we get. But it's a great team for sure.
It really is in that central office, but the same at all of our schools too, right? That each school has a different personality, but it's just wonderful places to work.
Absolutely, for sure.
So how many employees do we have?
We're in the ballpark of about 7,200 ish.
Sounds right, huh?
Yeah, 71, 72, somewhere in that range. So I mean that's teaching, non-teaching, everybody.
So what do we have? So we have teachers.
Man, you name it. We've got.
If you want to do it, we
spend
have
the rest
right?
of the podcast going through all our position types. But I mean, I don't want to leave anybody out. But we've got, custodial staff. You've got the people working hard in the kitchen. Our cafeteria managers and assistants. We've got paraprofessionals that are helping with the teachers in the classrooms. Like you said, librarians, principals, APs. There's, and that's not even getting into all the facility side that we've got. There's so many different individual departments at central office, and then expanding out to the schools. Like I said, we'd spend the rest of this pod talking about how many different positions we have and how vital they are.
Because we're a city. That's what we say on here. We're a city. So if, we have carpenters, plumbers, maintenance facilities, all of those things, architects, like we have a lot.
And we need every one of them. We had people out here, what was it, yesterday, where we had some issues with some of the wiring going on, and we had somebody that came over that our security came over and was talking to us about fixing something on the doors, and you just realize how important, how critical every single person in this operation is. I went to walk out of an apartment and couldn't open the door, and they came and fixed it minutes later, and we were all good, So
one of those things that you take for granted.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you don't expect
Opening
the door
the door
not to open, but then seconds later, our director's standing there telling me how he fixed the problem. Like, man, that's so good. You don't send somebody to go take care of it. You've got somebody. The man himself walks up and takes care of the problem. Like, that's a testament to what I talked about earlier about how good of a team we have. Honestly.
Is that Brian Hack?
Oh no, security
else.
director.
Oh, Andy Gatewood.
Okay. Yeah, we don't want hack running security.
I was going to brag on Brian Hack because one day we did have a little snake come in.
We do it all back here.
And he caught the snake.
I know. I was involved in the snake ring with and Eric.
And Eric
had a big role back here in TV. Man, we had to get that thing taken care of, and we boxed him up and took him outside. I know Tracy out there in the Environmental Service Center would be super excited to know that, or Study Center, that we boxed him up and took him out and put him in a spot that was away from people so he can go live out the rest of his little snaky days in peace.
And I took pictures.
Yes, you did. Great pictures.
That's what we do in communications. We document.
That's right. You document it all. Like I said, people wouldn't know how great it was if it weren't for y'all. So there you go. There's a perfect example.
But we all step in.
That's right.
But such a great place to work. And so I know we've got coming up our career fair, MCPSS Career Fair. It's our second year to do this. And I was just looking up some numbers. Obviously, we always want to pay our teachers and employees more. We do have some limitations on that based on revenue and taxes and that sort of thing. But I was looking up the national starting salary for teachers is about $41,700. And ours is 43,000, like 43,400. So we're doing pretty good. Like we can pay, we can never pay a teacher as much as they're worth.
Oh no, absolutely not.
But is that a selling point? Do you think that we're higher than the national average? Like
absolutely. I mean, even we get it's 49. I forget it off the top of my head. 49 and change for a master's degree. And a lot of people are, those are becoming a lot more commonplace now. So we're definitely well positioned salary wise to bring them on for sure. And not to just dive on in, but, we've got so many, 90 schools in our district, and we're such a wide spread out county. There's so many opportunities, and, that's a big selling point too. We're a giant school system with a lot of opportunities, a lot of different schools, a lot of different styles of leadership across those schools. It's one of the selling points I use when I'm talking at recruiting fairs about finding your fit. We're going to have opportunities where you can find areas of the county that you really want to be in, and find places, schools that you really vibe with, and personalities that go along with the way you are. And I don't know. Like I said, it's the salaries is definitely an important piece, but there's a tons more to it that we try to cover.
And that's the starting, and it goes up because most teachers have a master's degree. Yeah, because they tend to go back. Yes.
Yeah, a lot of times I come in with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years of experience. We can bump them up that scale, and there's definitely like you said on the salary side, attractive measures to get people in the door for sure. And then once we have them in the door, they meet people like Mike Hurd and Renee Phillips and friends that realize how good they have it and they want to stay. They
take their pictures.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Put them on podcasts and things.
But because it really is a great place to work, and I'm excited about this recruitment fair because we're hiring teachers, we're hiring all those different positions you mentioned. Bus drivers are always something that we have a big need for, and as they say, that's a part-time job with full-time benefits, right?
That's
like
true.
It's flexible if you need that, where you can go your morning route, your afternoon route. Some people go home, some have another job during those hours.
Yep.
And such a needed position. But when we do this fair, this is our second time to do it. Last year we had, and we're going to do this again, each of the 90 schools has a booth.
Yep.
They can talk to people. All the departments have a booth, transportation, facilities, child nutrition. And then they go to the best part of the room, right? The HR section.
I'd like to think so. Absolutely.
And what happens there?
Oh, man, that's where the magic happens. We, like you mentioned, I want to kind of backtrack for a second. You talked about having all 90 schools there. Like, for us to be such a big spread out county, the opportunity to be in one room and meet with leadership from every single one of our schools in one spot is so interesting and so dynamic and so helpful that you can visit a lot of our graduates come back and want to work for us, and so they got a chance to go to their alma mater's table and talk to their administration team and the principals and their APs and the folks they bring with them. They go all out decorating the booths, and really it's a big pep rally where we're trying to pump up the school spirit, but also offer people jobs at the same time. And it's just such a unique atmosphere to be able to go in and like I said, just have the entire county in one spot. And then from there, like you said, there's the HR ballroom, right? We're set up in there. We've got our
the convention center.
That's right. Yes.
Downtown Mobile.
That's right. That's
May
right.
9th.
Yep, there you go. There you go.
I'm going to plug that a couple times.
Appreciate that.
So
Please
then you
do.
go to the HR, you're in the ballroom.
Yeah. So that, like I said, that's where the fun goes. We have our administrative team are all there, personnel administrators like myself. So each of us is, because we have so many schools and departments, they kind of split us up, and each person kind of staffs a portion of that to try to take a piece of the pie and spread it out. So we've got the team there. We're meeting with the applicants that have come in and spoken to our administrators. The administrators will, what we did last year was send them a piece of paper to bring to us so that we can kind of have that sit down with them, talk to them about what their interests are, talk to them about what positions we have available at those schools, and hiring people on the spot. I mean, we were doing background checks there.
Drug testing.
We had that drug testing on site. Yeah, absolutely. We had the full start to finish, and like I said, putting people in positions right there on the spot. It was awesome. We hired 94 people last year out of the 500 plus that showed up, which is a pretty good ratio,
It was a one-stop shop, and I know one of my favorite stories was one of the last people that was still there as some of the booths were shutting down. She was so excited because she had just gotten hired as a job, I think as a paraprofessional.
Sure.
And I was kind of walking her out to show her how to leave the facility because some of the doors were locked. And she was so excited. She called her mom, and then she said, the funny thing, my mom got hired earlier today. So it was like a mom and daughter, and we hired them both on the same day.
It's a family affair. That's right. Come on, get jobs for everybody.
They were so excited.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's like I said, it's a very unique experience, and that just makes it even more so.
And Mike, you were there. The energy, like it was exciting.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
fun.
Yeah. I mean, just like you say, to have everybody under one roof, and the teachers were, and everybody that was there decorating the booths, they put a lot of energy and creativity into it. So it was fun just to walk around and see what all they came up with to decorate their booths.
Because it was neat because we are so large. It was like a career fair that you would go to anywhere, where you would stop at different businesses and talk to them. Except for us, it was all education, but every booth's different. Every situation's different. Every school's different.
I mean, and the layout was so great.
Yeah.
You walk in, you've got all the tables lined up to kind of greet you with the big, the big windows, sunroom kind of situation with the booths, and then you lead them around the corner. You got the big interior there with all the other booths set up, and it was just really well coordinated and just easily walkable, and just to be able to see anybody you wanted to see and find out all you wanted to find out about what schools had what spots. And, like I said, to hire as many folks as we did, it was a huge success, and we're looking forward for round 2.
Yeah, and so I am going to plug it again.
Yeah.
So it is May 9th from noon until 6 p.m. at the Mobile Convention Center in downtown Mobile. We have set up a website. It is careerfair.mcpss.com. You can register if you want to come or if you want to learn about our schools. And so we would love to have you. If you've ever even thought about being part of Team MCPSS, come on out and learn how you can be part of us.
And I think you might have mentioned it earlier, but this is not just teachers.
Right.
We're hiring. We talked earlier about how many different positions we have. We're going to be well represented there with people as far as schools and departments, and there are going to be opportunities. But as far as the school-based positions go, you're going to have custodial staff, CMP assistants and managers. We're going to need paraprofessionals, teachers. It's like I said, kind of running the whole gamut of positions there that they're going to be available. So.
I was working with your colleague Crystal Smith on some of the signage, and we were doing some yard signs. And you can only put so much information on a yard sign because people are going to drive by it. We'll have them out at our school soon. But I was like, now hiring. And then we started naming the positions, and she was brilliant. She goes, all positions. And I said, yes.
Right. Yeah, that's it, truly.
Because it is true, because we have a teacher shortage. Nationwide, there's a teacher shortage, and fewer people are graduating from colleges of education. That's part of it. So we want you to come work for Mobile.
Come on.
And if they can't make it to the fair, how do they find a job in Mobile?
Yeah, well, we got a couple different ways. The number one, the easiest way, we set up a webpage a couple of years ago. That's mcpss.com/job descriptions. I'm sorry, job opportunities, rather, mcpss.com/job opportunities. If you go visit that page, we will have a couple of different things you can look at. They're kind of grouped together by whether it's a certified and/or /teaching postings, classified postings, which are non-teaching. We got substitute postings, administrative postings. They're all separated out. Each has a link. You can click those links. You can see the different postings there. There beneath those links is a blue button for apply now. You can click on that. It'll take you to the application login screen. You can go right there, create your application, and then just go to town, find whichever positions you're interested in. You can apply to as many as you want. And it's a super simple, straightforward process. And once you've applied, we always encourage people to reach out to those schools. The career fair is a perfect opportunity. I think probably in the next week or so, I was talking to someone this morning about when we're going to roll out some of our advertisements for the upcoming school year vacancies, 23-24. It'll probably be, a week or so from today when we're recording, which is the 6th. So sometime, I don't know, by tax day, I guess. We'll
start looking.
We'll have job postings up. We call them generic postings because we have so many schools and so many positions within the schools. We don't post them, each position at every school. We'd have pages and pages of jobs. But so what we'll do is what we call generic postings, which will say like teacher, science, various schools. And what that'll do is once you apply to that posting, it will cover all science vacancies at all of our schools. And so we do have several of those. There's probably 75 to 100 total job postings we'll put up that are generic postings that everybody can go in and apply for. And then, like I said, once you go in and make your application and attach it to one of those job postings, we always encourage reaching out to the schools and schools that are closest to you. Because again, we're a big, gigantic county, so schools that are closest to you or easiest for you to get to, reach out to them. Let them know, hey, look, I'm interested in working at your school. I've applied for position XYZ and would love to meet for an interview. Another resource on that same page during the summertime, we will put up a couple of different PDF lists that will have. They're sorted. One is going to be certified. That's teaching vacancies by school. There's another one that's teaching vacancies by position, and the same for classified. So there are a couple of different lists you can look at. They're sorted alphabetically by school and then one by positions. You could say, hey, I want to be a C&P manager, but I don't know where. You can go click on classified vacancies by position. You'll see the list. You scroll down to C for C&P manager, and you'll see the 8 schools or whatever. I'm just throwing it out there. That have those positions available. You go to apply to the C&P manager, various schools, contact those schools, let them know, I see you have this position online. I'm interested in working at your school. Save the principal some time and know that they've got somebody that's interested right there in front of them. It's usually doing them a big favor. They don't have to work through a lot of applicant lists to find folks,
That's cool. So, and I do want to translate because as communications people, we have to translate a lot from the educanese and the HREs.
HR jargon.
Because probably the biggest question is what's a classified and what's a certified?
Yeah.
A certified is basically anyone with a teaching certificate.
Yes. Yep.
So a teacher, a counselor, a media
Librarian,
specialist, a principal, those types of things. Classified is basically any support personnel, which is custodian, bus drivers, C&P workers, which is child nutrition. We are classified also.
All three of us.
So we have degrees in communication and business or
Human
HR.
resources,
yeah, so we are not teachers.
Right.
So we're considered classified. So
Correct.
it's just basically if you have a teaching certificate, look at the listings that say certified.
Yes.
If not, check out classified.
You got it.
Right.
That's right. You got it.
That's all I know.
That's enough. That's all you need to know.
Talking a lot about hiring, but
Yeah.
hiring's not all you do in HR, right?
No, I mean, that's...
So pretty wide range of activities and tasks in that department.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, man. We to be such a giant system, we don't have a giant department, so we all wear lots of hats, and it can be anything from like we've talked about today, recruiting, and retention is obviously a huge piece because it's number one, and we can all agree with this. We're here for the students, right? We're here. Leading today, learning today, leading tomorrow. Excuse me. That's what we're all about. We want to bring people in that are going to be qualified to get in front of our students, support our students, to help them learn in an environment that is giving them some stability, giving them leadership skills to take it to the next level, and maybe one day come back and give back. Like I said, a lot of people that work for us graduated from one of our schools, and so we want to keep that trend going. And a lot of times, students, children, et cetera, they need stability. And so not just recruiting, but retention is a focus of ours as well. We want people that not only are qualified and highly qualified for the positions, but we want people that that enjoy where they're at, that are, it's always nice to have people that are from this area, because there's a buy-in already. There's that, and those that can bring that leadership and help develop those students and turn them into the leaders that they themselves are. It's a beautiful cycle that we want to keep going as long as we can.
And one selling point is also probably that we have good benefits. We're part of the state retirement system, and y'all manage all of that, right? Like all of the things I don't understand. But I know we have the health care and the retirement and the dental.
Things that I should pay a lot more attention to than I do.
Yes, but they're great because we've been out in the private sector. And
we don't have to think about it as often because they are so good.
They're solid. The systems are solid.
Yes.
And then one great thing, too, is we have the sick bank, which people can donate to. So if you've used up your sick days and something's happened to you and you're sick, I do love that about the school system, is we can rally behind each other and donate sick days to help people out when they're having a hard time.
Yes, it's a huge benefit of being an employee here is the sick bank. When you first I guess do your initial HR paperwork and complete the onboarding process, you get the opportunity to enroll in the sick bank. It works like a traditional checking account, right? You got to make a deposit to have an account. Yep. So it's 2 days you put in. They're still your days, but that's what you hold on deposit to be a member. But like you said, from there, it's just a matter of having that extra support system in place. If you need time and haven't accrued it yet, you've got the opportunity to borrow directly from the bank and then pay those days back as you get paid, or you can have opportunities that other sick bank members can donate days to you. And it's a wonderful process that really, it helps you focus on the important things, like I said, the students and maintaining your classroom, or maintaining your employment with us, and doing things that you need to do to be the best you can be for us, and not having to worry about, how many days do I have, or how much time am I going to miss, or whatever. You can focus, like I said, on the students and focus on your job and not worry about some of those peripheral things.
It's so great. And it gets us back to, this really is a great place to work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
The best, I say it all the time, hands down, the best people.
Oh, 100%. And like you said, we've been in the private sector. I've worked for some tough bosses, I will say, to put it politically, some difficult just individuals over my time in the private sector. And I worked a lot in sales, and not to dive too much into my personal / professional, but, I started my career in sales. Because people always told me, hey, you're really good with people, you should be in sales. And so I started my career off there, and just really there was something about getting to know people that was great, but then also having this ulterior motive to be like, all right, well, now Renee, now we're friends. I
want your money.
Can I interest you in this thing that you would not be interested in unless you were friends with me?
And now you're helping them make money.
Right, yeah, and so that's the thing. I pivoted from that. In college, I had some interest in HR, and I was working, in my high school and stuff, and in college in sales, but I always had an eye towards HR because it was an opportunity to get to know people and build relationships without having to worry about persuading them to do anything or buy anything from me. You could just focus on the people, and that's what I'm here for.
And we're glad you are, because you all do a great job over there in our HR department.
Thank you very much.
Of hiring people and keeping people and that sort of thing. And so I'm going to plug it one more time. The Teacher Recruitment Fair. If you want to come join Team MCPSS, you can check out our website, mcpss.com/job opportunities.
Yes.
Or you can go to our career fair on May 9th from noon to 6 p.m. at the Mobile Convention Center. We would love to have you come out and meet us.
Come say hi.
Come say hi, and then come join us.
That's right.
Best place to work in the world, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have on Learning Leading Now.